Interruption. Mitch McConnell's on the floor of the Senate. Hang on a moment. Maybe we'll come back to you, okay? Kellyanne Conway from the White House, North Lawn, Mitch McConnell, floor of the Senate.
They've tried to bully and intimidate us. One of our colleagues and his family were effectively run out of a restaurant in recent days by these people. Another reported having protesters physically block his car door. And some have seen organized far-left protesters camp out at their homes. I'm not suggesting we're the victims here, Mr. President, but I want to make it clear to these people who are chasing my members around the hall here, or harassing them at the airports, or going to their homes, we'll not be intimidated by these people. There is no chance in the world they're going to scare us out of doing our duty. I don't care how many members they chase, how many people they harass here in the halls. I want to make one thing perfectly clear. We will not be intimidated by these people. This is all part of the organized effort to delay, obstruct, and intimidate, including those of us who will be voting this week. A few days ago, I did something I rarely do. I offered a prediction. I predicted that here, in the last few days before the Senate will vote on Judge Kavanaugh's confirmation, the Democratic Conference would continue to make good on their leader's promise and fight this nomination with everything they've got. I predicted that on a dime. The very supplemental background investigation for which my Democratic friends had clamored, Mr. President, would suddenly become insufficient. Suddenly become insufficient. That no matter what accommodations were made, no matter what agreements were reached, Senate Democrats would find more excuse to continue moving the goalpost one more time. Now, granted, this wasn't exactly a radical prediction. This body and this nation have spent months watching their friends across the aisle grasp at every imaginable excuse to delay this process and damage this nominee. So I felt pretty safe in saying the last goalpost would soon be on the move yet again. But even I wasn't sure it would happen this quickly, Mr. President. Let's start with the Democratic leader and the ranking member of the Judiciary Committee. In a letter released on September the 23rd, they suggested that the FBI had ample time to conduct a supplemental investigation before the hearing that was scheduled just 4 days later. They insisted an inquiry would, quote, not take a tremendous amount of time. Democratic leader brushed aside the notion that this, the seventh background investigation of Judge Kavanaugh, would delay the process, saying, quote, it'll only take a few days, said the Democratic leader. It'll only take a few days. Well, that was, of course, before we agreed last Friday to delay proceedings no more than 1 week to accommodate just such an inquiry. So, naturally, we're now hearing a different tune. Yesterday, the ranking member stated her view that voting this Friday on Judge Kavanaugh's nomination as planned would be, I quote, too soon. Too soon. There go those goalposts again, Mr. President, moving right on down. In that same letter, the Democratic leader and the senior senator from California called for this supplemental investigation because, quote, conducting background investigations on nominees has long been the FBI's standard practice.
The headline from this, for the third time now in 3 days, Mitch McConnell, the Senate Majority Leader, says there will be a